Getting back to what you said earlier, and Dan Zangrilli is our special guest here, about Mitch Keller. You made it clear that you don't want to trade him. What would it take for you to change your mind?
Well, I'm not completely against it. I am, I think, against trading anybody that isn't on an expiring contract or a reliever. And when I say this, I'll talk about Bednar and Santana specifically because they have an extra year of control. I don't feel, unless the Pirates are completely overwhelmed here, that there needs to be this sense of urgency at the deadline to be making these deals on some of these really valuable guys. Keller, let's say Reynolds is part of a trade talk equation, or even Hayes. I really don't see a scenario where you're getting the best return on July 31st. That may be on November 30th or December 15th. So it's not so much that if I had my druthers about it, I don't want to trade Keller because of the things that we mentioned. He's a walking, talking quality start. He's as consistent as they come. But I have hesitation, especially at the trade deadline, because the biggest returns are typically when we're talking about guys with control or really marquee guys. You get, I think, a better haul historically when doing these deals in the offseason or at the winter meetings, because a lot of the teams that are in contention, they don't want to subtract from their roster to give you guys. I would love to see a bona fide bat. And when I say a bona fide bat, it's a bat with major league experience. I'm not sure I necessarily want to take what is now turning out more and more to be a flyer, even on these highly productive AAA guys. Jack Sawinski is a prime example of this, Bob. The transition from AAA to the big leagues. Why do we want to take on, even though they're promising, maybe they're top 10 prospects in the other team's organization, maybe they're being blocked in an organization and they have a bright future, maybe they do pan out and they turn out to be guys. Why do you have to take on that risk? Because I think that there's more risk now in today's game than ever before of trying to take on a AAA guy that is darn near close to being big league ready. I want to see the Pirates, if at all possible, and I think the possibility of this happening is in the offseason more so than it is July 31st, of them trading big leaguers for big leaguers to solve their needs. So I don't want to see Keller go, number one, because you subtract big time out of your rotation. I don't want to see Keller go at the deadline for the reasons that I just laid out, because I don't feel, and I could be wrong here, that you are getting the best return for him. You don't need to be in a hurry to do this. You can wait 4 months, and perhaps that patience will serve you well to position yourself much better going into 26.
Two things on that, Dan. So, one, do you also feel that way because of who is making the ultimate trades? And don't you think that opposing teams will panic, or at least there'll be at least one that panics and will overpay at the deadline compared to in the offseason? I think about it like the Penguins not trading Ricard or Kell, and now it seems like, oh, well, they could get a return. Maybe it'll be decent, but maybe not as good as the deadline. Do you see it? You don't see it that way?
No, because what I want to see is I want to see a bona fide bat returned to the Pirates that is big league ready. And at the trade deadline, teams that are in contention and fighting for whether it's the final wild card spot or whether it's the division title, they're not going to want to give you a bona fide bat because it's going to be subtracting from the current makeup of their roster. If we're talking about bona fide big leaguers that you're going to be getting back in return, an opposing GM will say, well, yeah, I've got this guy that's not helping my big league club right now. He's the AAA guy that, we think he has a bright future. He's a top 10 guy. We have him projected in our 26 lineup. Well, I would otherwise be amenable to that. But, Austin, as we've seen here, whether it's from Henry Davis or Jack Sawinski or others, look at Caglione, how badly he's struggling for Kansas City. We've seen so many examples around the league of this chasm, this inability to graduate to the big league level, and it takes years sometimes. And the Pirates don't have years. They have a 4 or 5 year window on the players, so they need something or someone that is turnkey, that hits the ground running. No, I'm not factoring in the current general manager making the particular decision here or thinking there could be a change in that regard in the offseason. That's not part of the calculus. I just think it's what the market is going to bear on July 31st versus what the market is going to bear on December 15th.